Hello and welcome to this video where we'll go into the DLT part of this modern data stack project. With using DLT, data load tool, we'll load the data from API into duckdb, and we'll use duckdb as a data warehouse, and then we'll explore the data in duckdb UI so that we will look into the data of that. And the data that we'll use is an API called JobTech API. So it's a Swedish data from Förmedlingen where you can get the data on job ads. And we'll go into an example of this job search API. And then we'll load this data. Okay, so let's move on to the browser. So here I am in the browser and I'm in their documentation. So in their documentation, they have code examples on how to get started with the job search. So you can look into the API and you can see job search and you can read more about this, how it works, but we'll go into job search example. And here it says there's a get ads here and there's example search and example search loop through hit. And then here you can see an example search. So query lärare Uppsala, then this will be sent into, you put this query inside of this example here. So basically I will pick the data from here and then I will modify it and just start with this one. And then later on, I will build up the DLT script so that we can load this data into an API. So moving on to Visual Studio Code now. So in Visual Studio Code, I'll start with copy-pasting this code from that documentation. And in Studio Code, this is an initial project, so it's just GitHub repository. So I have a Git. In the Git, I have added a few things. I've added this .file, and this is log, which is generated by duckdb, which we don't want to store it in source control. And then .duckdb. This is the duckdb database file that I named. So I don't want that to be sent to source control as well. And also .vs code because there's certain settings for my machine. And since I'm Mac, I don't want this file to be sent. So let's start up a new project. So VNV, and then we activate this project, source.ven, activate. And then we need to install a few things. We need to install DLT duckdb. We need to install, let's see, dbt-core, dbt-duckdb. Probably need streamlit as well. Yes. And whatever other things we need, we will install on the way. So let's try this script out now. You can see we have a URL here, we have get ads, and then we have this query here. So I will run this one. Remember, you need to choose here .ven, run it. And you can see we get a lot of teachers here, right? Okay, so we get number of hits, 66. And interestingly is that we can get limit 100. So if I run this one, we can see that I get number of hits 2,741. However, we don't get all the hits. You can see we haven't printed so many. Actually, we have printed 100, I think, because example, we have printed 100. So what we need to do is actually to get all the hits, we do need to put in an offset. And we need to do something called pagination. I'll show you how to do this. So starting with, I will clean this a little bit. So I will keep this get ads. So let's see. These are the things that I need. I will close this here, remove that one. And let's see how this works. So I have get ads. I want to have a DLT resource, right disposition. I'll choose append. Or we can just replace in the beginning, and then we can change to append later on. Def job search resource, and I will place the params inside. So parameters. Okay, so based on this one, we'll go in, place the URL. This I will place inside of my job search resource. And the idea is that from this resource, I will use this to get the data. So in order to get the data, what we'll do is like this. We start with a limit equals to params dot get limit from 100. So this means that we'll get the limit, and by default it's 100. But if it's older than 100 that you send into the params, it will be that value. So that is the limit. And then offset, we start it from 0, and then we will offset it so that you put in an offset in the params. So here you have query and you have limit, right? And you can set in the offset to paginate basically. So for example, if I offset 100, then I don't take the 100 results. Instead, I take the ones that start from 101 up to 200. I'm offsetting. So this is a parameter that I send into my API. And then with this, we'll do a while true. So page params equals to is a dictionary of params. So it's a dictionary of the params that we send in, and offset equals to offset. Okay, and then these page params will be used for getting to send into the get ads. So at the get ads, you have params, and also put in URL for search as well. For search, so we send in URL for search and we send in the params. So that's the idea. So now we pick out the data. So data equals to get ads, and we place in URL for search equals to URL for search, and then we pick in page params. So page parameters. Okay, that is the data that we get. And what to do with this data? We know from here that we get the hit by doing hits equals JSON response of hit. Then we'll just pick out those hits. So hits equals to data. So that is what we get. And then we do .get hit. And if we don't get anything, we'll do a empty list, right? So that's the good thing with using .get instead of using bracket syntax. So if not hit, what happens? Then we just break, because if we don't get any hits, we want to go out of this loop. And then we will start yielding data. So for add in hits, and then we will yield add. So here is the data that we will yield. And then we need to have another breaking. So if length of hit is smaller than limit, or offset is larger than 1900. Why is 1900? Because if we do offset over 2000, then it actually will break. Because the thing is, you cannot do offset over 2000. This is something that you should explore by yourself, explore this API. I have done that in beforehand and noticed that over 2000 we don't get anything. It will break. So this is the hard limit. Otherwise, we will do, if length of hits is smaller than limit, then it will break, because it means that we will have gotten all the data, right? So now basically we do offset plus equals limit, because the limit is the value, right? So that we are looping. If it's 100, then we will add on 100 for each iteration of this while loop. And then in this case, we will pick up new data all the time until we exhaust all the data in the API, or until we meet this condition here. Okay, so this is my job search resource. So I will actually remove all the others here. We don't need this anymore. So we'll create a run pipeline now. So run pipeline. I'll send in a query, table name, and occupation field. Because what I want to do is that I want to get the pipeline based on different occupation fields. And the occupation fields, it depends on, I will show you how to get those. We'll just write this pipeline first. So pipeline equals to dlt dot pipeline. I'll choose the pipeline name equals to job ads project. Destination equals to dlt dot destinations dot duckdb. And here I will place it into ads data warehouse dot duckdb. So when I run this one, then I will get a data warehouse, ads data warehouse dot duckdb. And then the dataset name, this is basically the schema name. And I choose it as staging, because the staging layer is the landing zone. It's where all the data will land before you do any transformations. So here it's perfect for DLT. We are extracting and loading. So EL, part of ELT, we're loading the data into the staging layer of the data warehouse. So for occupation field, in occupation field, params equal to Q for query. So these are the params that we can send in. We'll go into limit here is 100. Occupation dash field is occupation field. And then we do load info equals to pipeline dot run. And we run this job search resource with params equal to params. Table name equals to table name. So if I choose the table name as job ads, for example, then this will be the table name. So the idea is that, okay, I will send this data into the staging layer and call it job ads. So into a table called job ads. That's the idea. So then we can print load info. And also I can print occupation field, so F string, or I can do it like this. So this will give me all the occupation fields. And then let's find out the occupation field. So then to find the occupation field, let's go into the browser now. Actually, there's a little bit of detective work in order to find the occupational fields. And what I have done before is I loaded the data without occupational field. And then I look into, for example, lärare, that is teacher. And then I look into something called the concept ID of the occupational fields concept ID. That is what you should look for. And I think it's a little bit unnecessary to do that in this video. So I will just leave a set of occupational fields in the video description that you can try out. So for this one now, so for example, it looks like this. These are a few occupational fields. I copy it in. And these are what they correspond to. So this is teknisk inriktning, means technical work. Hälso- och sjukvård means healthcare. Pedagogik means pedagogy. So these are a few occupational fields. And the query I will leave as empty. And then I will create a working directory because I want it to be the path of done the file dot parent. I want it to be this path here, and that is because we can run this script from different places. You can run it with terminal, can run it with the run button, and if we are in somewhere else and run it, then we are not in the right directory. And what I want to do is that I want to do os.change dir, and I want to change my directory to the working directory. In this way, if we are in the working directory, then I know that this destination will be placed here, so that my ads data warehouse is placed in this place. Okay, so query empty, and then I will have table name equals to job ads, and my occupation fields, and then what's left is just running this pipeline, query, table name, and occupational fields, run. So it will take a little bit of time to load the data. Yes, so it takes a little bit of time, but that's fine because we have quite a lot of data to load. And now we can see that one is finished here. And you can see occupational field, the first one, it's done. So pipeline job ads project load step completed in 1.21 seconds. That's not really true, or actually they don't consider the whole pipeline. Instead, it's just the loading part of DLT that took so short time. But the whole pipeline took much longer. So now 1, 2 is done. This is another occupational field, it's the second one. Okay, the third one is done. Good. Let me debug this. Okay, I figured out an error before, and that was, I call it job ads project. And since I have obviously done a job ads project before, which means that it loads into where my job ads project is located because the pipeline has the metadata of the location. Now I changed it to job ads demo instead. So this one is a new one, new pipeline name. I don't have it before. However, if you want to go delete the old pipeline, you can do it like this. So open lp/pipelines, and then you will go into the pipelines here, and here are all the pipelines that I have. And job ads projects, before I had the job ads demo as well, I deleted this one so that make sure that we start from clean slate. Okay, so from here, it's quite simple. Just run this one. And now you can see ads data warehouse duckdb created now. So this is exactly what we want. And then we just wait a little bit for the data to load. Okay, so now the data is coming in. Let's see. Yeah, we got in this one. And there's the last one left. Perfect. Contains no failed jobs. So let's run this one. duckdb-ui add. You can see there's a .val file, and yeah, it's temporary. I think it will disappear soon. Ads data warehouse. Let's run this one. So now you see here. So this is the duckdb local UI. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. The data is here. And job ads. So let's search on that one. So from job ads, it doesn't work because it's not in that catalog. It's in the staging schema. And you can see there's 2,100 rows. Okay, that's my mistake. I chose replace, right? So this probably, you can see what types of jobs we have here. So we'll do from staging.job ads, select headline, teamvikarie, grundskollärare. So these are only the pedagogical work. So if I do occupation field label, you can see that, yeah, pedagogik. So all of them are pedagogik. Yes, because we did replace. So that was a mistake. Instead, I will do like this. I will do Control D. I will actually remove this one and start again. So let's do, instead of replace, I will do append. And then I will rerun this one. So now the idea is that we should get separate ones. We should get the 2,100, more than 2,100. Okay, almost to the third one. Okay. Let's check desk. Yes, we have job ads here. Let's run this one. 6,300. Perfect. And if we're looking into this field, you can see that there are 3 of them, right? So pedagogik med tekniska inriktning. Okay. And if you run this one, you can see here, this is so good with the local UI. You can have a lot of exploratory data analysis for free here. So you don't need to query all of them like you need to do before. So here you can see, 19% are null, then you know that, and you can see how many are nulls there, etc. And you can, yes, you have a lot of columns here. You can get data quite quickly. So if I want to see what label is, I can see, okay, there's different types here, number of vacancies. You can see statistics here also. So it's going from 1 that is min, and apparently there's something that is 900. Maybe this is a typo, and this is something that you could stop with a data test. Probably. There might be someone that have typed 900 jobs. That's really strange. Maybe probably it's a mistake. And yeah, you can see description text, etc. Okay, and this column has no nulls, but it says 5,900. Okay. Yes. Maybe unique ones. Yeah, unique ones, because some ones are, here you have a lot of repeating ones, because maybe you copy and paste your ad several times. But the point is that we have loaded the data into our data warehouse, which is our local duckdb database. In this video, we have used DLT to load the data from API, job text API, and loaded it into duckdb database, which we use as a data warehouse. We've loaded it into the staging layer, which is the first layer. And then we have gone into duckdb local UI to explore the dataset. So we have explored the data a little bit, not much. And later on, when we'll do the dimensional modeling, we'll go in further and explore the data even more. So when we explore the data in more detail, we can find out how we will create our dimensional model, which is the blueprint for our DBT modeling later on. So I hope you found this video useful. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye.